Take it in a little bit.
Hey, guys, AJB here. Right away. Hi, Mario.
Hey.
What are you sitting on this for? Let's go up here.
I never sit in the front row.
Come on, right here.
Nutty did.
I thought Nutty didn't walk out.
People might fall out.
Now, what's this waltz guy doing in here? This is the wrong waltz. How you doing, Vern? Now I can get even with you from high school.
Well, if they're all over there,
I still have a hard time sitting down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pat got me. That's the floor.
Three members are called.
It was Tuesday night.
Three members and one will have to be the chair.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
How's this?
Next day.
Busy.
You been working?
Yeah, unfortunately. Got hot today. Got hot today.
That's a good call. Was it 92 out there?
Yeah.
It must be a son. This is the one that gave me the grant.
How are you?
Took it back.
I'm dead. We're not moving that until, we're not.
You're not?
I just called them. They got all the title search done. I got $1,500. I got $500 deposit. It's gonna cost me $1,350.
He sold all day.
Why?
I mean, he starts selling it to his son for little or nothing. We're in a bind.
No, he's not the one that owns them. Lunchbox has got the.
He's one that buy one of them.
Yeah, he's just wanting to
You
buy.
know,
I don't think,
right now, there's 2 lots on Archer.
I don't think.
Archer.
Our street.
No, they're right next to the railroad tracks. That's hard to sell.
It's not, you know, off close to Tony, but I can live with that. You can pick me up.
Hey, you're upgraded.
Hey, Tony, that lot next to you, is that available?
That's Herb Clausing.
Oh, you know what that means?
That's all I need to
100
say.
years after
You said
he dies,
enough.
he'll sell it.
Herb told me, said, when I die, Tony, there's gonna be a lot of
How are
happy
you?
dogs and cats in this county.
Good. Anybody else coming? Have a quorum.
What do you think?
Oh, wait, Owen's here.
Yeah, we got Owen.
I was thinking Owen was saying.
Owen was the utility director.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we're good. Sorry.
Head up.
Ms. Voto, good afternoon.
I
Hello.
told him.
How are you?
I know I'm speaking from the floor, but I didn't hear a gavel go down, so I thought.
Well,
You don't have to
are we
say
taping
that.
already?
Your head.
I think Mario started.
Well, they only 6 units over there. How come there's?
Is there 6 or 8 units over on the tracks? 6? Those are probably the original.
Tony Abbott, you're next in line. You gotta run the meeting, but you gotta vote too.
I don't do that anymore. I retired.
Not tonight, dude.
Let's see who's top in here.
Because it's
Wait a minute.
Is that Mr. Long? No.
Oh, I was gonna be head.
Can't any better as that door opens.
fear.
I don't even have an agenda.
That's right there.
But put yours down really hard to hear last time.
You're hard to hear. You need to
I don't
talk
want you.
Bring it upstairs.
It's on purpose.
No,
easy to type minutes when I can't hear you.
there you go. Grant's here.
Is he a board member?
Huh.
No, he's not a board member.
He's had a long day.
I'm not sure.
Time is 4:32, and it's the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission work session of June 11th, 2015.
I already did.
Have roll call.
Director Grant Hughes,
Here.
Tom Rogers, absent. Olin Clausen,
Here.
Tony Abbott,
Here.
Mike Morris is absent. Donnie Bryant,
Present.
Patrick Myers, absent. And Leslie Votaw.
Here.
Okay, everybody's present. Any announcements from the board?
Other than, the only thing, we didn't have the ability to get it on the agenda. The last vote that you did on the rescission of Mr. Waltz's $10,000 buyer's assistance. We're going to need to address it.
We can bring that up in comments from the audience. How's that? All right. Anything else? Any announcements? Okay, any discussions? For discussions, we got Grand Hughes notice to developers.
Yes, one of the reasons for this special meeting was to discuss, we have a developer out on Industrial Drive. This gets back to the issue of the electrical service that we were providing to Quality Fire Protection. The issue that we had at Monday nights was there were some members who felt that it was three-phased service, and so we had some confusion on that point, and we wanted to clarify that.
Okay, so the notice to developers is the revised one that they wanted, correct?
Yeah.
And we're saying, you have two here, you have 10% of purchase price up to 15, or 10% of the cost up to 15, which one? Oh, you're saying which one?
Yeah,
Asking them.
we have it here. It's 10% up to 15,000. Maybe
Well,
available.
I have one he just handed me that says 10% of the costs, and this one says 10% of the purchase price. So which one?
Which one?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you all about with that. I guess I jumped ahead there. Notice on developers. I was thinking that was the developer on Industrial Drive. There was two ways of putting that in there. It was 10% of the cost up to $15,000 or cost up to $15,000. So I'm asking the board which one they'd like to use. The sentence I added was Lawrenceburg new home buyer incentive. In parentheses, 10% of the cost up to $15,000 or cost up to $15,000. Now, Donnie Bryant,
I don't see that. It says
What's the
10%
difference?
of purchase price up to 15,000. I thought that's pretty good.
The
Grant, I
purchase-
thought we held that down to new constructed homes.
well, new home buyer.
New home buyer.
You got retail, commercial, professional, general, commercial, residential, all types of residential, commercial.
Yeah. You've also got retail, professional, general manufacturing,
Yeah, but.
or mixed use.
We clarified Lawrenceburg new home buyer. You all you said to add the 10% up to 15,000. So that last sentence there, before contact Grand Hughes, it says Lawrenceburg new home buyer incentive, in parentheses, it could be 10% of the cost up to 15,000, or it could be up to 15,000.
That's where these things just go all over the place when we got all that extra language in there. I think when we discussed it, it was for new constructed homes, period.
But Donnie, I'm
This is
trying
just-
to
this is
get
just
what
a
you
notice.
asked for, and I took
And-
the notes. You
And
said
the
10%, and you said 15,000.
That should be staying with the property that's already been purchased and agreements is made there. And the 15% should be anything after that, like, once this is passed, these $150,000 homes they're building and stuff. We keep opening up all these ends, and these things always come back and bite us.
With all due respect, sir, I put in there exactly what you said on Monday night. You asked for the 10% and you asked for the 15,000. Sir, if you want to write it the way you want, we'll print it that way, but that's what the direction was.
There was nothing in there about commercial buildings or anything like that.
I understand what Donnie's looking at and saying, and it is a little confusing. I don't know how to straighten it out, though, because above that, you have retail, professional, and general manufacturing, or a mixed use of the before said. And then you go into the home. So, it's clear enough to me.
Maybe we just say Lawrenceburg, new home buyer incentive was what we're calling this thing, right? So we could just put for residential development, the Lawrenceburg new home buyer incentive, may be available.
The goal with this advertisement was to draw developers, either for residential, commercial, or mixed use. And from Monday night meeting, you all felt that it was important to add the buyer's incentive for the residential.
You know, these developers, when they come, you know, they come for abatements and.
Just put
and
just add for residential development,
I
comma.
think that discussion was for that developer to know that
New
there would be
home
some incentives
construction.
available
For
for the people
residential.
purchasing
Right.
those.
Residential.
That's why they got Lawrenceburg New Home.
So I would just say
How about if we
for,
put Lawrenceburg New Home Buyer Program
Just make it
may be
plain.
available? That's what we're trying to do.
New home construction.
So if I understand you correctly, the developer language was to incentivize the developer, not necessarily targeted towards a commercial business coming in there.
This notice to developers and builders was to draw them in, to have them contact the city about doing, building or developing in the city.
How about if we set two separate announcements?
Huh?
How about if we do two separate announcements? That'd be all right, Donnie?
Yeah.
We do one for the residential
Residential
home
and one for the
and
commercial?
commercial. How about
Okay.
that? And you just put them side by side there in the newspaper.
All right.
Can you draw those up?
Limit the 10,
Or can we go ahead, and pass it now to do two of them and with this language that's here?
if we do one of
cut it in
them
half.
for, well, it doesn't make sense either because it can be mixed use. So for residential development, comma, the Lawrenceburg new home buyer incentive may be available. I mean, that clears it up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Donnie?
Les, do you have a quorum?
Yeah, we have a quorum. We got three here.
Oh, one's a member.
Sorry.
See, that's what I did when I first got here. I was like, he's the new.
Let me introduce our new member.
So are you
Yeah,
good with
I
that,
gotta put
Donnie?
up with watching the video and having Tony Abbott down here drilling me for not being here, and I gotta put up with it in person.
There we go. There we go. Again, we need them votes. Need that
So,
input.
Donnie, are you okay with that? Just adding that for residential development, comma, the Lawrenceburg new home buyer incentive may be available, which put in the 10% thing, yeah. Okay,
That's good for you?
here, I just wrote it in.
It's good with me.
Do we need to
So
vote on
separate
that?
or together?
So you just need to.
Do we need to make a motion on that? Need a motion to accept the new notice developers, builders, Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission notice.
So moved.
Got a motion, and a second?
Second.
Second by Donnie, all in favor?
Aye.
You need to also,
Oh, I voted aye.
okay, good. All right, so now.
All right, now
Now.
quality fire protection.
Here's more fun, come on up.
I thought we had this all worked out, so I'm,
I think
What do we got?
do.
okay.
Say your name.
Terry Larson with Quality Fire. So,
And I had the agreements, I just printed them and left them on my printer, but I had presented one to you all on Monday's meeting. And there was some discussion when Mr. Clausen was not here about whether or not we needed one phase or three phase. So, you know,
I think the simplest way to do this is whatever your service entrance section is on your building is what I will construct to the building. If you cannot derive three-phase service at that location, then there's no need for me to build three-phase into that location.
right, which, the night you weren't here or whatever, what it was decided was that since there wasn't any power on that whole stretch on that side of the road, the thing to do would be come off the hill, bring three-phase to that side of the street. You know, I don't care where, but that side of the street. I only need single going to the building. You know what I mean? So,
Let me ask you a question. In the future, in your opinion, who would the three-phase serve in the future?
and that's what, I mean, there's another, and that's kind of what we talked about is there will be another building there, and one of the people will be in my present building. We're talking about selling a piece to him or whatever, and what he's wanting, he may need 480. And that's why, my only thing is, and I really don't care how you do it, but my only thing is if you have to go back later while that's all hot, I don't know how big of a deal If it's not that big of a deal,
It's not a
then
big deal, and
just
so everyone
wait.
understands. Part of our model is going to be, I've got a meeting on the 17th with some policymakers and rate makers, rate design makers. Part of our policy is going to be that if a business comes into an area to be served, we'll extend a credit to that business for X number of dollars. Those dollars will be based off of their anticipated revenues over a period of 3 years. When that business shows up and builds, we extend the service to them, understanding that we will regain our cost of construction over a period of time. If they leave that premises, even for a month's time, or fail to pay their bill, they will be responsible for 100% of the construction costs. This way, we allocate the cost of construction to the people who are putting a burden on the system, not to others.
Right.
Yours is a kind of a unique situation. There was other discussion that took place prior to my being here.
Right.
But that doesn't change my obligations to the utility now that I am here. So I think the $5,000 credit or contribution on your part, which you brought the check in today.
Yep.
And redevelopment covering those additional costs, that's fine. I've met the requirement, the threshold of my responsibilities as the general manager. And then in the future, if someone does build down below, they can come in, enter into an agreement with us. We will look at what their anticipated revenues will be, and we will extend a credit to them for that amount. And it'll be a natural progression, and everybody will have the same consideration here on forward.
Right.
And it'll be a good economic driver.
But, okay, that being said, so, I mean, my point is if you're saying it won't be, I mean, what is the additional cost if, you know what I mean, if you got to go back and bring the three-phase from working alongside I mean, is that?
Well, there's a few reasons why I wouldn't want to extend three-phase unless you're deriving service on there. Number one.
I mean, I don't care from my standpoint now.
I understand, but
Yeah.
number one, the basic NEC code and better management practices say that you should never derive a service or build a service that you cannot derive load from. So me building three-phase out there and just having those phases out there, not attached to anything, not deriving any service load, all I'm doing is increasing my line loss and increasing my exposure to outages.
That's
So
fine.
best management practices causes me to want to avoid those situations.
Right.
So that's the number one thing. If you were building three-phase under this agreement, it's not going to cost me anything. I'd
yeah.
extend it in a heartbeat. But since you're only needing single-phase,
Right.
we'll do that.
But
That's
what-
fine.
What he's wanting to know and getting at, when he sells his building to this guy who wants three-phase, how much is it going to cost to run three-phase down to that building then?
If that deal takes place and that guy wants three-phase, he can come in and sit down with me, and we will work those numbers up. And probably the cost to that individual won't be much. It'll be very little, probably in line with what Mr. Larson's paying now. Because we will extend to him a credit for the overage, which he will guarantee that he will be there for a period of 3 years so that we can recoup our costs. To do that with that, I don't have any guarantees of recouping my costs of construction.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea. I mean, I think that's,
So the long and short of it, the cost of this guy is going to be somewhere in line with what you're paying now.
Okay, and so the only other clarification, is that good enough clarification
Good
for the
enough for
board?
me. If they're happy, I'm happy.
Okay,
I need electric bad.
so the only other thing
That's why we're
is,
here today.
the only other thing is, we did review the minutes, and you did say, at one point, you did say,
New tenants were supposed to pay another $5,000.
didn't call them tenants, though.
Or
You said
leases or whatever.
businesses. No, you said.
Businesses, whatever you want to call them.
Well, but that could be, what he's talking about, that could be another building down there.
Yeah.
And see,
So-
and
that's
the
what we
problem,
discussed.
Ryan, the problem with that is, that's not an appropriate relationship for the utility to have with any customer. Nor can any board, no board, obligate the utility to have that kind of relationship with any customer.
Well, I think you was a part of that discussion.
No, I was not a part of that
No,
discussion.
no, he wasn't here.
The redevelopment
The
was
first-
stepping in to make this work because of.
Because we were putting the money out and we're trying to get some of our money back.
No.
So, okay, but it's okay for him to reimburse the 5. That's like the first 5 and then,
What
and then
was the-
redevelopment.
What was the amount that we were paying? 45 or?
Well, no, the original estimate for the three-phase
It was 30,
was like
27,000.
37.8 or something like that. So, I mean, and then I think the single would ended up 17.9 or.
Change.
Yeah, something like that. So, I mean, you're gonna get my 5, and then whatever, what we discussed that night is redevelopment would pay for what it costs after that 5.
Right.
And I
Which
think the
is-
reason we're doing this is to try to go back and honor an agreement.
Right,
that was-
exactly.
That was made
Exactly.
prior, sometime in the past.
So,
Right.
So
I'm
we're
sorry,
gonna
just-
lose, we're gonna lose 12, but we're gaining business. So if somebody wants to put that in motion, we'll move on from here.
Well,
Well, you're not,
No, we're not losing.
you're not losing, I mean, actually, it's gonna be cheaper.
17, if 17, we're getting, you're paying 5.
But
Right.
the deal is we recoup on the expansion on that site, that money that we have outstanding.
he's saying, no, we can't do
They're
that.
saying, no, we can't do that. That's what I just
No,
said.
he can't do it as a utility.
But we can.
We can ask for it as a redevelopment commission to be paid back.
well,
That was our original agreement.
Yeah, that was the original.
Well, that
That's
was
why
the
we're here
original
arguing
motion.
about this now.
No, that's the original motion.
We can upfront that
wasn't-
money, and then you just pay it back to us when you get reimbursed,
I think
correct?
that's the way
Ole?
you understood it too, wasn't it?
now, no, this is a unique situation.
That night, I mean, that
typically-
night, what I thought the agreement was, is that you guys were gonna, and then down the road, that's what you would go, because nobody said, we didn't know what his rate structure was gonna be, but we said that whoever the next building is or whatever, then they'll have to pay whatever it costs.
Yeah, redevelopment is going to be out
Right.
the difference.
That's not the way we understood it when we made the motion for that last time.
Well,
Each
I
new
mean,
tenant
it's-
Or whatever would pay
Maybe not the
5,000 like you
tenant.
did.
But what he
I
said,
think You were speaking as the city, and you say you're gonna recoup each meter 5,000, but you couldn't say that because that's, again,
No,
business.
the redevelopment would recoup their costs. That's
How's
what we're-
redevelopment going to recoup their costs?
Reach new,
I don't have a
Building.
provision that's rate-based that says I can transfer money from
Okay,
the
well, let me
utilities
ask you
into
this.
redevelopment.
If we're picking up 66% of the cost roughly, and the next tenant,
What I can do is the next tenant coming in, whatever their proportionate amount is, so let's say that usually if a utility extends services where they're not giving any kind of a credit on, they make somebody pay 100% of that extension. Now, if somebody comes in and benefits from the little bit of work that was done, they have to go back to that original customer and have to reimburse that customer proportionate to what their use is. So, yeah, on that $16,000 total, you're out $11,000, there will be some amount of money that I can realistically say should go back to redevelopment, but it's not going to be, it won't be the total amount.
okay.
It'll be some equation of that
So the
amount.
way I need to put in our MOU then is just a percent, with the understanding that there may be a percentage of,
What I would do to keep it clean, Les, because I've got to sit down with John Wolfram to go through this. I have no idea what that formula is going to look like. So what I would do is just approve it tonight with the understanding that he's paying 5, redevelopment's paying the rest, and that me and Grant will get together and work on that number, but it's to be determined.
okay. I'll just get
We have
the-
one motion already, so.
Yeah, was there a motion?
No,
That's-
we didn't make a
That was
motion.
the three-phase electric. At that site.
From the
That was
last
your-
meeting.
Yeah.
Last meeting.
Yeah, so we'll have to rescind that.
No, just you can,
never voted on.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can
it was
rescind it.
voted on, and approved that night.
you can rescind it. So you do need a motion to rescind.
Right,
Need a motion to rescind the motion on three-phase electric
from May 11th.
The three.
from May 11th.
From May 11th for the three-phase electric.
and so move.
Got a motion by Donnie, second. By Olin, all in favor?
All right.
All right.
Aye. That motion's rescinded. Now we need a motion to, you want to word that?
It'd be a motion to approve the, well,
Just
a motion
pay the
to,
difference, whatever the service is.
it'd be a motion to approve the
Single phase.
single-phase electric by the Lawrenceburg Municipal Utilities to be paid for by 5,000 from Mr. Lurston, and the remainder to be paid by Redevelopment Commission.
Our motion, Connie, do I have that motion?
I'll make a motion that we extend single-phase service to Mr. Larson's site, with him paying $5,000 of the total, redevelopment to pay the balance, and that's my motion.
And then there also will be a memorandum of understanding that will be signed by Mr. Hughes and Mr. Clausen concerning this, if you guys are okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I have a motion, do I have a second? We're going you get a little bit back, Donnie,
Donnie,
A little bit better, is it?
a little bit.
you second?
This man needs electric.
Oh, I wish him the best. I want him to have that. I hope he wish he already had it. I'm sorry that he got in the deal he got all messed up.
Let's look at it this way, it's gonna cost us about 8,000 to have a business in there,
Yeah.
so that's about the
It's
cheapest
gonna be
we'd ever
some
have
jobs
anyway.
and stuff.
Okay,
You're
so-
gonna get that back next year in taxes.
I'll make the motion.
He made the motion, we just need a second.
Donnie's giving the second.
Wait a minute,
We gotta.
For clarity, he made the motion to extend services. He means to pay for services to be extended.
That's right.
Yes.
Make a motion that we pay for services. The understanding that Mr. Larson pays for $5,000 of that total cost. Redevelopment paying the balance to his property on industrial, Mr. Larson's property on industrial.
Take it off the recorder. I
And
have
the
a
MOU.
motion by Olin. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Donnie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. You got electric. Hopefully.
Whenever you're.
Until the next meeting.
How many jobs you got down there bringing in?
Don, hold on a minute. I don't think
Just off-
New,
it's not.
6,
Very good.
but there's 4 being relocated.
I do need, from you, I do need a drawing, electrical drawing, so for transformer sizing and whatnot. I think you got 3 200 amp services there,
I think so.
all individually disconnected.
If he wants
I'll
to
get
Yeah, I just
my
need to see that.
electrician to
vote, 'cause it's not on the
get with
agenda,
you. or
Unless you want to
Good.
allow it.
But yeah, that was
That's
the
what you're here
plan,
for.
is set a pole back there kind of
Visible
towards the back, and
business.
then we'll just have a short run underground to the transformer.
But we don't
in the
have
back,
old
and then
business.
Right off of it,
Get-
3 separate
get it on the
disconnects.
agenda in time.
What does she want
All right.
to bring up?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we're discussing that now. Okay, moving on. Comments from the audience. Mr. Waltz, you can come to the podium, state your name, please.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Waltz, before I start, I want to interrupt you. I'm not sure how we should do this, and it's not really clear if we can vote on this matter tonight.
Right.
But I
I
do want to hear you.
Believe you cannot vote on me tonight. I don't expect that, so. But good afternoon. My name is AJ Waltz, and I'd first like to thank Mr. Abbott for inviting me this afternoon to this board. After Monday night's redevelopment meeting, I am thankful to be here today. When I was raised, not that long ago, my father always told me that even if I didn't like what someone had to say, or even if I knew I wasn't going to agree with them, I still was to listen out of respect for them. This respect was not present at Monday night's meeting, leaving me frustrated. I started calling around to better understand what had happened to me that evening, and to make sure that I wasn't in the wrong. I was advised to get legal counsel, which I had put a call out to an attorney that evening. I emailed Mr. Abbott explaining what steps I was going to take and asking to speak with him before making any legal moves. I reconnected with that attorney shortly after and told him I wouldn't need legal counsel until after I met with the mayor on Thursday, June 11th, which is today, and the redevelopment committee in hopes that they would just make things right. I have gotten pre-approved for this condo, and with the help of my family. My girlfriend, Brittany, and I were very excited about moving into our new home. We know it's not the most favorable, being just feet away from the railroad tracks, but we really do like it. Plus, it's a great starter home for us, and we can both just walk to work. For those of you who do not know me, I'm 20 years old, I have a successful business here in downtown Lawrenceburg, and I'm months away from starting my second business. Brittany works at a local restaurant and attends Ivy Tech Community College right here in downtown Lawrenceburg. If you come to any of the local functions, you'll find us there supporting or volunteering. We enjoy eating out and going out with friends here in downtown Lawrenceburg, supporting our local businesses and merchants. We enjoy eating out and going out with friends here in downtown Lawrenceburg, supporting our local businesses and merchants. We enjoy eating out and going out with friends here in downtown Lawrenceburg, supporting our local businesses and merchants. We enjoy eating out and going out with friends here in downtown Lawrenceburg, supporting our local businesses and merchants. We enjoy eating out and going out with friends here in downtown Lawrenceburg, supporting our local businesses and merchants. We enjoy eating out and going out with friends here in downtown Lawrenceburg, supporting our local businesses and merchants. We enjoy eating out and going out with friends here in downtown Lawrenceburg, supporting our local businesses and merchants. We enjoy eating out and going out with friends here in downtown Lawrenceburg, supporting our local businesses and merchants. We enjoy eating out and going out with friends here in downtown Lawrenceburg, supporting our local businesses and merchants. We enjoy eating out We would love to own down here and start a family here in several years. We love Lawrenceburg and we love being part of this community. So I ask this board tonight if they can have a special meeting called on Tuesday to reapprove this grant that was taken away on Monday. And let's get those condos back into ownership, away from rentals, and back onto the tax bases. Let's help move this community forward and redevelop it for a better community.
Very good.
Thank you.
Anybody got anything to say? Comments?
What is the argument of 10,000?
Okay, his argument is we made a motion the month before to extend the $10,000 to him for the homeowner's buyer incentive, and at the last meeting, we rescinded that motion. So, now, and I've said before at the last meeting that one of these he's buying, the original program, each one of those 6 condos was allotted $10,000. We put $60,000 of that money in there was for those condos
When they
were first built. And then there was a problem where they were prefab homes and the prefab builder went bankrupt and Mr. Bunchbox had to buy them elsewhere or something and it cost him more money. So in order to recoup his money, he had to lease them out for a while and then sell them. Well, now he's at the point that he can sell them. And we made the agreement with Mr. Bunchbox that every dime he sold this condo for goes back to his loan, the principal of it.
Grant, do you know how much that loan is total?
Things getting very busy.
750.
750, I think that's where the 125 per unit came from, for 6 units.
Yeah, that was the agreement. I'm sure, you want to set up a meeting for Tuesday?
It's fine with me.
Me too.
Need a motion to set up a meeting for, what's a good time for you?
I can make my schedule work. I'd greatly appreciate that.
4:30
On
work
Tuesday.
session
I'd so
Tuesday?
move.
Tuesday next week?
Yeah.
Connie, can you notify?
Mr. Olin gonna be here?
Yeah, and I've got some comments for you when we're done here.
All righty. And so we'll have a meeting Tuesday at 4:30, right?
Thank you guys. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Mr. Dennis?
Thank you. I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but you can stop me if it isn't. Good luck. Good luck. Mike's not here, so you can't, I'm sorry. I had to say that. My wife and I have decided that we want to build a home in downtown Lawrenceburg, and we want to build it in the 2 lots that you, the redevelopment gave to Seymour several months ago. It's the 2 on Arch, on Center and Arch, that face Center Street. So I guess the address is really Center Street, I'm not sure. There's one on Arch, but that's on the other side of the alley. And I noticed today he's already got temporary power on that one, so he's probably going to build on it.
Yeah.
But these are the 2 that have that crazy hill that go down. And between the 2, we'll guarantee that we're going to spend no less than $185,000 on the home. And what I'd like to propose to the city, and I've already started the conversations with Mario and Carl the other day, but my wife and I have a lot behind our building. It's the lot that marries up adjacent to the 2 lots that burnt down where the fire was in '07. And we own the lot behind it next to Tom's lot. And Mario, you know exactly what lot I'm talking about. And the reason we would be willing to exchange that for those lots is it would give the city a lot of flexibility. When you do develop those 2 lots on High Street, it'll give you access from the back, because it's 35 to 40 feet across and back next to the alley. So if you ever want to do trash bins back there or anything else, as long as it's nice, I mean, that's the way to do it, because you don't have, you're kind of boxed in back there. And that was when Middle Earth, your father was here at the time, Leslie, but they were going to build that whole deal there, and it kind of fell apart, and all that money in the lawsuits. But and the city did us a favor, and Mayor and I would be willing to do the city a favor and give you guys that lot. What we would ask over at the other places, any considerations you can on utilities, if it's possible. I don't want anybody to fall out of their chair over there, but But our lot has some value, and those do. And I know Paul bought them, but I was here that night when he said, if you ever find anybody else that wants them to build on them before I'm ready, I'll give them back to you, if my memory serves me properly that night. So Mary and I are ready to build, and we're ready to build now. We'll be in before Christmas if you go along with us. So I don't know if this is the time to bring it up or to wait till Tuesday
Well, I guess.
of the following month, but that would waste another month. We're ready to get started.
No, well, the only thing I think we can do right now is kind of steer you in the right direction
Okay,
on it.
that's fine.
Because we had to have the notice to developers, wouldn't you have to be? Would we have to do that for him?
He can jump in anytime.
Okay, well,
No,
there's,
we're ready to go.
Yeah, well, we just can't, there just can't have any vote tonight, Dennis, but we could definitely,
What we could do is have you put a proposal together, formal proposal, and then submit it at the next meeting.
can you present it Tuesday, 4:30?
This coming Tuesday? Sure.
We can put it on with that meeting.
I'll get with Grant. How about if I get with Grant and he'll tell me what he needs me to put together to present? Is that fair?
That's good.
so we can
Only
make
thing we're
sure.
going to be at a loss for is the evaluation, the appraisal on his existing property.
I have that.
You have one?
I just spent $1,000 getting a commercial and residential to get my taxes adjusted, so I have that. 28-page report.
How recent?
No.
7 months. Yeah, it was applicable to the taxes that are coming up, so it's pretty current. It's 28-page report assessment.
Didn't Paul have somebody
Appraisal.
already?
We have to get two. So we could get, I
Right.
don't, we probably would have to.
Well, the county accepted it
Right.
without any hesitation.
Well, no,
so-
I just mean we
Okay.
have to procure two independent appraisals, so we would have to do it,
I
but,
think the lots of value between $5,000 and $10,000.
That's more.
And it's completely, you guys, it's completely paved. That's more,
there is an exception for less, for,
For a dollar amount
yeah.
and a tree.
So we'll look into that, but we
Fine.
can look and look.
well, we
into
want
it
the
for
city to,
Tuesday.
we would want the city to have it probably, even if something didn't have it, because it will work well back there.
Donnie, you had a question?
No, didn't Paul say he had somebody already working with the bank?
Okay,
And
I was going to go back to that. Arch and Center, currently we have commitments on the 2 lot that faces Arch. One is
No,
Brown.
we only got,
Yeah, he's got a temporary problem with that, Grant.
There's two
no, he
commitments
got
on
2.
Arch.
There's 4 lots of,
Two on Arch, facing Arch, and then we have the 2 lots that face Center.
Those are the only 2 that I'm interested
Those are
in.
the 2 that are open. Now, my clarification is, you're talking about putting one house on one lot?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not one house on 2 lots.
No, I want to put one, I want to put one, I'll make it very clear. I want to put one house on 2 lots.
Well, but that one you didn't sell to Seymour. There was no deal for that
I
one.
don't think there's no deals for
No
those.
deal for the Center Street.
Yeah, the
Center's
deal,
open.
the deal was for Center Street.
Yeah, I want one house on 2 lots, because it's 90 feet instead of 45 feet, you know, I mean.
Before we give anybody any impression of what we're going to do, we need to have Paul here and have it clear.
But
what
Paul
the
can come to the-
understanding is, and
That
Paul
was-
come to
you
the
here.
Tuesday meeting.
That was the meeting that Mr. Votal covered, and I know the only 2
We
that he
didn't sell
had.
those lots on Center Street to Paul, right, or wrong?
You said he could.
He's just gonna
this
use 'em.
material
You
fill
can put
there.
the dirt that he
Yeah.
got off the other ones to help those lots on the
Right.
elevation. But we agreed to sell him the 2 lots on Arch.
Right.
That's what we did, and that's what I did the purchase agreement.
Can I add one thing to that,
What would
Grant?
happen if we end up getting
Right, so
sued?
Center
Can I
Street.
add
Center
one
Street-
thing to that? He asked for permission, I was at the meeting, he asked for permission to store his dirt on those 2 lots. It would save him some money if he was allowed to do
Well, not
that.
only that, but it's gonna help.
Right,
the lot.
it was a good thing for everybody,
Yeah, it's gonna
that's what
help
it
the
was.
lot.
So,
And
yeah,
we
it's-
put that in the purchase agreement, remember? We
So I'll
did.
get together with Mr. Hughes and work out a proposal for Tuesday?
Tuesday,
So
4:30.
we have both Mr. Waltz and Mr. Hutchin on the agenda for Tuesday at 4.
But we are, Tony, we are ready to go, so,
That sounds good.
thanks.
Some new houses.
Okay, great.
Any other comments from the audience? Miss Pat?
I was not here for the Monday meeting, but we would, at Main Street, we'd like to get some clarification on this new home purchase assistance program, the direction that you're going in. We have a little over $16,000 left from the original amount. I understand, I think probably the first one to come out, or the next one to come out, as I understand it, is the house on Euphemia Street.
That's the one for 15, I do believe it was.
Okay, so we can cover that. We can't cover any additionals, but I do want you to know that we did have a call from UCB regarding one of these other homes that Paul is constructing. They're closing on something.
We did make a motion to make it up to 75,000, I do believe, counting the 16, wasn't it? We
60.
we agreed to put,
60,000.
60,000, plus your 16 is 76,000 or
Okay.
whatever.
Okay.
So we have the money and it's been allocated for those.
Okay.
I thought we was going to have them come back to redevelopment.
Yeah.
Please?
Okay, at the next meeting, we're going to have to do a true allocation. Next meeting, we're going to have to do an allocation because I don't have enough funds in there to do any after the Jones on Arch. So they can do Euthymia, and then we can do Arch from our funds, but then I've got to ask for an increase in funds in that line item from this board, and then it has to go to council to approve the
Okay.
funding. All right? And then we can get up. But what the decision was that I got out of Monday night's meeting was we would do these by individual buyers of homes, and then we would send notice to them and the money to them. Now, there was 2 emails that went out of my office
Yes, I think I saw
afternoon.
those, yeah.
First email told you the board's decision about Euthymia to take it out of the 15 out of the 16. The second email was to you saying that we had put a request into Jackie, should be approved Monday night at the council meeting, and you should receive it next week, because I know UCB's trying to set up a closing.
Okay, and we're fine with that. We just, I mean, with administering the funds, but if you're going to do it on a case-by-case basis, I would tell you this: if we're going to administer them, we're going to wait until we have approval from you all before any money goes out of our office, because at this point, we don't want to do anything that you would not want us
What
to
they want to
do.
do was approve it, and then send you the approval and the money at the same time.
And that's
Then
fine.
you would administer it out.
We're happy to do whatever works for you all. The other question I have, though, is this closing, and I wasn't here on Monday, so this closing that Mr. Kittle was referring to, is this the closing of a construction loan?
Yes.
And that was a question, then in our office, we had a question about it, because we've never given money on a construction loan. We've always taken the check to the actual closing once the property was constructed. So that's our question to you, is a clarification. The closing is on a construction loan, not on the final structure. So I don't know how you feel about that, but that was a question we had.
That's a very good question, because all I know, this 10,000 goes to the purchaser towards purchasing the home.
So I don't know why it would make any difference. Whether they want to do it at the time they do the construction loan, or they want to do it at the time it's done, it doesn't make
6 of
any
one, half
difference.
dozen of the other.
Yeah.
It's-
I don't-
Because
The
the,
construction loan, is that for the contractor or for the individual?
It's for the-
fails somewhere and
it's the
they
individual.
don't move it into conventional mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah, then
That's-
if it fails and they got $10,000, well, that home buyer
Well,
is
the
going to
bank-
be responsible
right,
for
but
it.
the bank's got the $10,000, not us.
The bank gets it, but the home buyer, because we're giving it to the home buyer.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying
But
to
the bank is
incentivize the
taking
purchase,
it, but the bank is taking it as it's part of the down payment from the home
Right.
buyer. It's going into the package.
I
the
say,
construction
I say
loan?
deliver it to the purchaser. They can do whatever they want, however they want to do it, right? I mean,
Well, no, I think
I
it's
don't
got
see,
to,
I don't see any reason why they can't do it towards down payment if they wanted
right.
to.
I think, because the bank's in control of it, they're considering it as part of the money. The bank is holding that money to close that property once the construction loan's done. It goes
So
from
the 10,000
construction
is going in
loan,
escrow.
it's going to construction loan to a permanent loan. Oh, yeah, I imagine it has to go to escrow because it's not part of
Because
the cost.
if there's no obligation for the builder to keep his mortgage with that bank under construction. A
Yes, sir.
construction loan can be, a construction loan with Wells Fargo and then a conventional mortgage with UCB or whomever.
Now, the way this is structured, it's UCB's carrying the permanent.
Well, that was the question we had, because
I don't see any difference.
we
I think
we
we're
weren't
fine.
certain, based on the parameters that we've had in this program for a long time, that was not the case. And we want to make sure everybody's clear on what the difference is here.
I don't think
And
we're
if
quite clear.
it's whatever you all want to do, but I just wanted to bring that question and that concern up to you.
John Davis, we talked about this a little bit today, but construction loan is very different, the advancing money, because the city's more at risk for that money. If that project doesn't get completed, or the buyer bails out, or the contractor bails out, you've just lost yourself $10,000 or $15,000.
We didn't lose it.
You're not gonna
'cause-
get it back.
We didn't lose it because we give it to the purchaser. And this.
You're not gonna get it back, though.
$10,000 is going to the purchaser, and if they don't live in that house for 3 years, then they're required to pay it back, right?
They're no longer in
So
town, Tony.
if
They're
something
gone.
happens,
They're left. They've left. They've gone. The
I'm
bank has
saying,
it.
if it's not built, and we've paid that purchaser 10,000, wherever it went to, that purchaser is still responsible for that 10,000. If they didn't live in that home.
It'll cost you
they're supposed to build.
$50,000 to collect it. So, no, you guys do whatever you want to do, but we want language that says that, Main Street's following your orders, because that money's at risk in a construction loan.
I understand that.
Okay, so, I mean, it's a lot different than giving it to them at closing. The money's guaranteed there, it goes towards the down payment or whatever they want to apply to. Construction loan is money put in advance as a down towards the building of that property,
Great,
so
that's-
it's two different things.
That's the way we've done these. I mean, I went and given them the check at the closings
This would be the first time this has ever been done.
over to the bank.
But the home was done, completed.
And if you want to do it that way, that's fine.
Yes. This one is, we've got a buyer in the front end of this that's making the commitment for the construction and for the permanent loan.
And usually it's because they don't have any money themselves to put down, which right there should be a red flag.
I always thought the 10,000 would be for anyway.
Is to help.
As a down payment.
Is to help. They,
It would,
I
and
mean,
the bank should be willing,
purchaser has
right,
to-
and the bank should be willing to work with that, without having to put it up front.
Plus, they have to
Personally,
put
but that's
something
up
in
to
there
you. If you want to
themselves,
let your money
purchasers.
out, that's up to you.
They can't get a construction loan without our 10 grand.
That's
I
correct.
don't know that I want to get into business with them.
That's a decision for you guys to make, and that's fine with us. We just need to know what to do.
So how
So-
did this get all changed around? How did this all get changed around? Because it's on closing, that's when the bank got the 10,000.
We don't, we only have our precedents and our meetings as far as this program. So my recommendation is we need to put this down in writing.
I mean, I'll just talk about the row houses, just
Yeah.
like the firewalls down there. I don't get one dime until I finish all that stuff off.
That's right.
Okay? It'd be nice if you guys change all this to make sure that the work is completed before we receive one dime from the city. So, and I understand why you're doing it too, because you've lost some money on these grants. So I appreciate going that route, but if you couldn't afford to do that, then probably you shouldn't be in the deal to begin with. So, but you guys make that decision. I'm just giving you my opinion.
Thanks, John.
It's up to you, Grant. I mean, you're doing this loan program, I mean,
Well,
how did it change?
how did it change?
Yeah.
This is the first one that we've done that the buyer is in on the front end. All of them, all the other ones were built speculation, and then the buyer came in while it was being built. This one, the buyer came on the front end and requested a house and on a lot, so that's how this looks a little different.
Well, the only other, I don't see much of the risk. I mean, if they already are approved for the construction loan and approved for the mortgage, is that correct?
My understanding.
Well,
The only thing we could do is have them sign something.
We can put it in escrow. If the bank needs to count it, we can put it in escrow with the bank.
yeah, because if this is a decision that my name's attached to, there's no way I'm going to be in favor of giving $10,000 to somebody a construction note. If they can't do it on their own, they could get conventional mortgage that we give $10,000 towards. I'm not going to participate. That's just, why would we assume that risk? Why would we?
If the permanent is structured around the construction loan, you could.
But there's no obligation. If the person
I think your
loses their
point-
job, if the person decides to move, if the person decides they don't give a damn, we're out the 10 grand.
I think he's saying you're still subordinating a debt that hasn't been fulfilled yet. So if it went to escrow,
But if we went to escrow, it would solve the problem, correct?
If it went to escrow, it would, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'll make clarification, make sure it's going to escrow. But I'm pretty sure it was counting for the purchaser, so it'd have to sit in escrow.
So I guess you just need to clear that, or
I
you give
know-
Mr. Kittle a call and,
Yep.
okay.
And I mean, I can tell you, even USB Bank is going to say that a construction loan is a completely separate animal, separate interest rate, separate agreement than a long-term finance. And they will close one loan out and they will open another.
We can't make any vote on tonight because it wasn't on the agenda.
So
If you want to
can
go
you
ahead.
find out about
Bring
this
that
and
out
bring it
by
back
Tuesday.
Tuesday, 4:30? We're gonna have a long.
What's his name? What's their name? Is that John's?
That is.
Or Jones?
George Jones.
he died.
Orange Street.
Jones on Arch. Is that correct? Jones on Arch?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
George.
From Aurora.
And that was a $15,000.
Yes.
Have all those.
So that's also a $50,000 home, and I think the square footage is 14 or 15.
Any more comments? Ready.
One from me.
Uh-oh.
I wasn't at the meeting, but I reviewed the tape.
Mhm.
I particularly enjoyed your criticisms of me not being here.
Well, I'm not- it's no,
And I
don't take
wasn't
it
here.
personally.
Let me finish. When I was basically asked to be on the board without any prior notification or discussion whatsoever, I agreed to do that. The appointments that I was at, the reason I wasn't here, those agendas, those appointments were made back in January of this year.
Mhm.
And so I had no way of knowing what was going on. I'm the voting delegate for the state of Indiana for IMPA. I had obligations there that I was tending to. I apologize for not being here, and I'll do my best to be here in the future, but
That's great.
if you're not satisfied with that and you'd like me to be off this board, I'll accept that.
No,
as
I
well.
never said you had to be off board.
Okay.
I just want somebody to be here because
Well-
we need the votes, we need the
No,
input.
I understand.
Instead of
I-
just
I
two
take-
of us
I take
sitting
the
down
ser-
here.
I take the obligation serious.
Yeah, we just seen two of us sitting here and we're not able to make a decision because somebody's not here. So
Well,
then we have to
that's
table it
city
and table it and
council's
table it. So
appointment, right?
I just want our members to be here, that's all.
It was concerned
And if you're busy
about
doing
the
something else,
gentleman.
that's fine.
Yeah. But I understand your frustration. I'm just explaining where I was at.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. See everybody Tuesday.
You were just on, you just.
We are.
That was one to throw it.
No, I know. Trust me, I understand the frustration. I just,
Mr. Waltz, how you doing, sir? You're looking younger, so keep me busy. I didn't believe it, actually, with the last
I want you to think about it.
Trust me. And what wisdom we learn how not to. It's good seeing you, sir. Great to see you. Thank you.
The official transaction, that way you can go ahead. I'm thinking.
Well, I